Republican politician in Tennessee can't help but praise Hitler. That's right. During a debate on a bill that would criminalize homeless camps on public property in that state, State Senator Frank Niceley wanted to inspire homeless people that they too could be more like Hitler.
1910, Hitler decided to live on the streets for a while. So for 2 years, Hitler lived on the streets and practiced his oratory and his body language and how to connect with masses, and then went on to lead a life that got him in the history books. So a lot of these people, it's not a dead end. They can come out of these homeless camps and have a productive life, or in Hitler's case, a very unproductive life.
Okay. Wow. Hey, look, if you're a homeless person, you just pick yourself up by your bootstraps and you too could be like Adolf Hitler. Wait, what? Uh-oh. Wow. Okay. Now, the best thing, of course, is that this guy had almost no self-awareness until like the end, where he's like, oh, very unproductive life. Oh, all right. Wow, great. Now, look, who could ever imagine using Hitler as a role model, especially as like, look at that inspirational person. He pulled himself out of poverty bootstraps and then went on to do one of the most greatest, biggest atrocities in the country, in the world. But yeah, bootstraps. Now, look, he's not even right. Okay. Yes, Hitler did not choose to be homeless, for one, the Washington Post explains. Having failed to gain admission into the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, he used up his savings and ended up sleeping on park benches and begging for money. It's like a good conservative, right? Years before the Holocaust, he lived in a hostel for the homeless in Vienna between 1910 and 1913. And many of his friends were Jews, according to The Guardian. Historians noted how Hitler described this period of homelessness as the harshest and saddest time of his life. Oh, sad. But not really. Back to Niceley, right? So now, Niceley turns out not so nice. In 2009, Niceley was among a group of Tennessee Republicans who attempted to force President Obama to turn over the birth certificate. Ah, yes, the birth certificate, which again was just a gigantic racist dog whistle and a reaction from Republicans that were like, oh, we can't have a black man as president. Nah. And so now at the time, he claimed that Obama's Kenyan relatives said that Obama was born in Kenya. Yeah. So there's that. But there's more. And in 2017, Niceley told E&E News that carbon dioxide emissions, of which are a significant driver of climate change, is not a pollutant. And said, it's just as natural as oxygen. Okay, but that doesn't have anything to do with whether or not it's a pollutant. I mean, it is. You put too much into the atmosphere and you get some pretty bad things. I mean, I know you don't understand. It's natural, so it must be good for you. It must be good for the environment. Well, if it's so good, Niceley, why don't you just go and suck on an exhaust pipe? What? It's fine. It's just as natural as oxygen. You'll be all right. Right? I mean, the guy's ridiculous. Now, finally, the bill that they were talking about, again, that will only make homelessness worse. If you criminalize homeless people, it will put that mark on their record, right? And make it more difficult for them to get a job and get out of poverty. It'll make it harder for them to get back on their feet. Not to mention, this guy's probably against supporting people with mental health care, okay? Because that's an important thing too. Because there are people out there who are homeless, who are unhoused, that need mental health care, and they can't get it because we don't have a mental health care system. We don't have resources and support. And of course, there are some people that choose not to get that support. And there are some people that choose to not go and take advantage of some of these programs. And I understand that as well. I don't think that's the majority, but that does happen and it does exist. Still, you have Republicans out there, and Democrats, by the way, who push back against doing anything to help homeless people find homes. Because I think the majority of them really do want to get back on their feet, and they're facing really, really hard times. And we need to do something about that. We need to house them. We need mental health care. So, but again, these people are against that. So here you have an example of a terrible person idolizing a complete and utter monster in defense of what is a disgusting bill. And right there, good example, the modern Republican Party.